Om Shanti and greetings of peace. A warm welcome to all of you once again for joining us. We do appreciate you wanting to spend this 1 hour and sometimes just little over an hour of your time reflecting on your own inner journey. It is our aim to offer you every week some new or additional insights to help you on your journey, especially when that journey sometimes have challenges and we need to find new methods when the old one is not working. So it is my deepest wish that every one of us collectively can be on this spot and help each other to move forward and do so quickly and smoothly with less hiccups, even though we are aware that there's a saying, going to heaven is not as easy as going to your auntie's home. Life presents challenges, and we all know that all these challenges are means by which we can bring out the best in us. Because it is at the time of challenges we look within to find other ways to cope with challenges. So we learn, we grow, we become mature, we become wise. Today our topic is on this universal light, which we consider to be God. In the invitation, most of you, I think, received that invitation. There is a representation of the various religions. And most of these religions, especially the main one, they have two things in common. And one thing they have in common, they believe that there's only one God. And the second thing they have in common is that they believe that God is light. In Christianity, for example, Christ referred to God pointing upward. He said, God is the way, the truth, and the light. And to support that, we have Moses when he was meditating on the mountain. He shared an experience he had, and that is he had a vision of God in the form of the burning bush, fire. It was the three wise men. They were guided by a light to find baby Jesus. It was the light that revealed the 10 Commandments. It was the light that revealed to Mary that she had conceived. And that is why there is this tabernacle lamp, this lamp which they call the altar lamp, that is very often lit in churches around the world. In Hinduism, they meditate, worship an oval shaped stone. And that stone they give the name as Shiva. And in one of the oldest temples in India, the only image that is seen in that temple is the Shiva Lingam. So, according to the history of Hinduism, which is the oldest ancient religion, in that temple, they depict God as an oval shaped image. The only image that in ancient time was worshipped as God. And in Islam, one of the aim of every pilgrim, every Muslim, is to go on that pilgrimage. We know that it's called Hajj. And during that pilgrimage, in the grand mosque that they visit, they circle the mosque 7 times. And in the center of that area where they circle, there's this black oval shaped stone, which is considered to be called Sankhyawas, or it is called the Holy Stone. And that stone is oval in shape. And it is the desire of every Muslim when they go around that stone, at some point, they must kiss that stone. And for some who aren't able to do that because of the large crowd, they try to touch the stone. And if they're not able to do that, they try to lift their hands up before the stone. Now, that stone is also oval in shape. And in Buddhism, one form of meditation that they do is that they meditate on an oval shape. They meditate on an oval shaped image. So all the major religions use an image that is not God, because God is not a physical light or a stone. But in order for them to focus, they need a form, they need an image so that they can concentrate on. And since light is oval in shape, when we light a match, the flame is oval. If you light a candle, the flame is oval. So light is oval in shape. So they use that oval shape image only so that they can remember God. They can focus on God. They can take their mind somewhere. And we all do that. We carry pictures of our family members, the people we love in our life. We carry them in our cell phone as a screensaver, maybe, or we have them on our desktop, or in our house, we create collages, or we carry pictures, photos all around the house so that we attempt to keep the memory of the one we love alive and constant. So we use images only so that we may not forget the one who is closest to our heart and dearest to us. And so, God being represented even in Sikhism, which is a religion that was established just 500 years ago. Even the Sikh head of the Sikh religion, he referred to God pointing upward. He said, God is bodiless, without a physical form. And he referred to God as being above. Why it is necessary to know who God is at this time, especially. Although we are aware that as many people there are in the world, and we know there's a population right now of 7.8 billion people, as many people there are in the world, that many different opinion there is about God. And everyone has a right to their opinion. And yet when you ask people how many gods they have, in defense, they will say, oh, just one God. There's just one God. And whenever we have challenging moments, we look upward and we call out, oh God. And we also say, when somebody passed away, we say that person has gone to God. So where is God? If that person has left the earth, left the corporeal region, the physical world, and has traveled to God, so does that mean God is not here and he has gone to meet God? We heard the saying that God will come. If God is here, there, and everywhere, is there a need for him to come? Why are we waiting for him to come if he's already here, there, and everywhere? And there's another belief that we are all gods. Does God ever forget himself? Because we forget who we are and we have to be reminded who we are. So does God ever forget himself? Does God hate his brother, sister, mom, dad? Because we do that as individuals. Does God act selfishly? Does God die? Who is God? So different people, different opinion. But God cannot be here, there, and everywhere. And God cannot be in me and in you. Because if he does that, if he is in me, he will not sit idly and allow me to create negative, evil, thoughts of jealousy, thoughts of anger, thoughts of stealing, thoughts of killing. Would God do such act? And if I am separate from God, but God is in me, then what is his purpose of being in me when I commit such heinous crime? So God is not here, there, and everywhere. Because if he is here, there, and everywhere, there will be proof of his powers and his virtues. When you go to a church, a temple, a mosque, the atmosphere there is peaceful, positive, powerful, because a handful of people gathered there, like minded, thinking positively, praying, meditating. invoking God so that atmosphere changes. When we go to a funeral and everyone is sad, the moment we enter that funeral atmosphere, we start to feel sad, even if we are happy at home before going. And even if we are sad at home and we go to a party, the moment we enter that space where everyone is celebrating, then we started to feel happy. So if ordinary people like you and I am able to change an atmosphere, is it possible that God is everywhere in me, but he cannot control my negativity? Is it possible that he can be in this world and so much atrocity, injustice, sorrow, suffering, death is taking place and he is helpless, unable to do anything? So at this time, when humanity globally is exposed to all of these incredible forms of challenges, there are many questions. And many people are questioning God. What is he doing? Where is he in all of this? Some are blaming him. Some are moving away from him because they cannot believe that he is not able to resolve this situation. Some are coming closer to him, knowing that holding his hand, being in his presence, will pull us through whatever we are going through at this time. So some move away while some come closer. Someone was sharing a very interesting experience. He went to visit a barber, a hairdresser, and whilst getting his hair done, he was talking about God. And the barber insisted that God does not exist. And he didn't say anything. After getting his hair done, he left and he came outside of the salon and he encountered someone, hair in a mess, condition of his body was in a mess. So he had a thought. So he went back into the barber shop and he said, "Barber don't exist." And so the barber was very shocked. He said, "What do you mean? I just got your hair done. I am standing in front of you. How can you say I don't exist?" And he said, "Look, there's a gentleman outside. He needs a haircut. He's in that state. And what are you doing?" And then the barber in defense said, "Of course, he can come inside. And when he does, he can get help." So the person said to the barber, "That's exactly it. God exists, but people need to come inside. They need to connect. They need to switch on. And only then they can receive help from God." So, where is God in all of this? Some people say, "Why can God stop all these people dying?" And the big question is, if they're going to die anyway, why should he stop them dying now when they still have to die at some point? So when there is calamity, injustice, we find someone to blame for that. But when there's winter, and we know winter is coming ahead of time, what do? We prepare for winter and we accept that in winter we're going to be locked indoor. We wouldn't be able to do lots of stuff outdoor. The night will be longer. The day will be shorter. Do we fight with winter? Do we complain? Do we criticize? Do we reject? Or we accept that winter has to come? And after it comes, it will go, and there will be summer again. When our car breaks down, or when our car needs petrol, or need to go to the repair shop, do we bang our car, beat it up, complain, accuse it? Why do you need more petrol? Why do you need to be repaired? No, we bless the car because we know thankfully we have a car and it's helping me in my life. So we love it, we care it, we give it the petrol it needs. We do not say, why do you get old? Why do you break down? Are you so greedy? Do you need more petrol? We don't say that to the car. It's the same when we get hungry. We don't hit our stomach and say, why do we get hungry? I fed you at breakfast. Why do you feel hungry all over again? When we get tired, we don't say, why do I get tired? We know it's time to go to sleep. So when scenes in the drama changes, we cannot blame God for it. But we can do something so that we can stay above sorrow and suffering. And one of the things we need to understand is that God can be here, there, and everywhere. Because if He's here, there, and everywhere, I'm not able to connect my mind. In fact, we all have had this experience that when we want to pray or meditate or remember God, we close our eyes, we clasp our hands, we bow our head. These are some of the things we do in our attempt to shut out everything around us. We empty our mind of everything and everyone only so that we can focus on God. So obviously, God can be in everything and in everyone when we are shutting out everything and everyone only so we can connect with Him. It is because of this one belief that God is omnipresent that we are in the state we are today. And what is that state we are in today? We don't know where to take our mind. Some of us believe that God is in heaven, and some of us believe that heaven is up above. But we know that when everyone in our home is in harmony, even if we have very little to eat, but there is peace in the home, and there is harmony in the home, and everyone is contented, we say it feels like heaven. So heaven or hell can only be in the human world, because it is when we are in this body and through the senses we can experience happiness or sorrow, pain, joy, illness, health. We can only experience everything in this physical, through this physical body. So heaven and hell is right here on earth. The only thing that is they do not coexist. When there is heaven on earth, everyone is happy. Everyone is healthy. And when there is hell on earth, no matter how rich someone might be, how famous. Today, I don't know if you listen to the news, Bill Gates, this one of the wealthiest man at this time. He and his wife is having a divorce. I'm not supposed to be telling you worldly news, but I'm using that as a reference. A man who's so wealthy, who with his wife had formed organization, invested so much money in research and all the other stuff. I think you're more aware of them than me. What is it that he lacks? Does he lack anything? And they said their divorce or their situation is irreversible. After 27 years together, they've decided to walk away and start a new life all over again. I use this as an example. Does money give you happiness? Does fame give you happiness? Does anyone give you happiness? So only for an example's sake, I remember the reading very briefly because I'm sure a lot of people will be questioning, how is it possible for someone to be having X amount of billions and still not happy? What is it that we need? We think God must do everything. God is a magician and he has a magic wand. And with that, he can remove people's sorrow and make people happy. That's not possible. God has a regenerating energy. And he has to come at a particular time. And we all say that. We believe in our various scriptures, and it all says that God will come as a thief in the night. Only my true lovers will recognize me. God will come in such a disguised manner. So how would God come? What would it take for me to recognize him? Has he come already? Is he going to come soon? When is it that he is needed most on this earth? And the answer is, he's needed now more than ever. So is God here already? We know that we are all souls, beings of light, and that we are children of God. And so God must also be similar. He must also be a soul, a being of light. That's why it is said we are made in his image and likeness. So God is a soul, but he's supreme amongst all souls. God does not take a human form, because anyone who takes a human form goes through the process of birth and death. And between birth and death, they're subjected to two laws: law of karma and law of entropy. And law of karma states everything you do, you're going to get the fruit of that, good or bad. And the law of entropy is that once you are born, you have to die, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. So these two laws are laws that is related to human existence. And this law is applicable here in this physical dimension. But God resides in a world that is beyond physical dimension, a world referred to as the land of peace, land of purity, land of liberation, a world where there's no sun, moon, and stars, no earth, no movement, and no sound, a world where we are completely free. And many people, regardless of which religion or whether they don't have a religion, many have had out of body experiences, and many have described going beyond the sun, moon, and stars to a place where there was only light and more light. From a place of darkness, they reach a place of light. And in that place of light, they come in contact with a beautiful light, a light that is welcoming, a light that is healing, a light they feel so comfortable being in that they did not want to come back here on this earth. Everyone. It wasn't people from a specific religion that had these out of body experiences, but people who may not even believe in religion or God, they came back to tell the same story, that the God they met, the light they came in contact with, was loving, healing, was not a punishing God. So why is humanity suffering today? It can be because of God. When we were little and we are told not to do certain things like playing with fire, go near to the stove, touch heat, and we are curious when our parents are not looking and we go by the stove and we try to touch the fire or touch the pot and we get burned. We don't keep that in our memory that our parents burnt us. We realize that we got burned because of our action. So we know the difference. When I do good, how do I feel? I sleep sound at night. And when I do something that is against my conscience, I carry a heavy, guilty conscience. So it disturbs my sleeps. Every time I sit to meditate or pray, whatever wrong I do, it come up in front of me. It blocked me from accessing or communicating or connecting with God. So God doesn't punish anyone. Even our earthly parents, they will do everything within their power to protect their child, even if that child is wrong. Yet that parent will not want to see that child suffer. Why would God want to see us suffer? And even more so, why would God make us suffer? So when we are challenged, this is an opportunity to test our faith, our trust. Is our faith blind? Is our trust so solid that the boat of truth will rock, but I know I will not sink? This is a time when we are tested, when our faith is put to a test. Our trust in a higher being is put to a test. Are we failing or are we winning? The boat of truth will rock, but it will never sink. So what challenges allow us to do is to form our trust and faith in God. And so God is here now And this is why you find so much awakening is taking place. Awakening that is not mentioned in CNN or BBC. It's not part of the news. So many people are becoming vegan, vegetarian. Where are they getting this inspiration not to harm animals, not to kill animal only to satisfy their taste buds? Where are these people getting inspiration from? I remember when I first visited London, and in 1986 was my first visit, and there was very little food items in supermarkets for a vegetarian. And today, I think everywhere, nearly half of the items in the supermarket today are vegetarian, vegan. So, how much change is taking place? Today, we have what we call Black Lives Matter. Today, people who are not necessarily part of the Black community, but they come out, they risk their life, especially during this COVID-19 period. They risk their lives to come out in huge numbers all over the world. And they're saying enough is enough. No more injustice. And they are not from only the Black community or the colored community. They are people from all walks of life, people who feel, no, we must not stand by and watch injustice. We should collectively generate such energy that the world will look at us. Today, we see all forms of awakening taking place. We know of Greta, this young girl who addressed the United Nations and created so much interest in climate change. And so there are so many activists trying to bring awareness in our world about the need to preserve and protect the environment that serves us tirelessly and selflessly. When it began, they were able to generate interest groups, large groups, in about 4,500 places in about 150 countries. And now they're talking about solar energy, alternative energy, reuse, reduce, so that we can protect the environment. Who is inspiring all of this, if not God? God is getting his work done. Many people are opposing nuclear weapon or creation of them. As an organization, our hospitals are run efficiently. We serve on a yearly base 100,000 tribal people without charging a fee. Our organization in India, our headquarters, we are the largest solar energy user in India today. The Brahma Kumaris produce so much electricity from solar energy, and not just we are creating it, but we are storing that energy. And we are cooking up to 65,000 meals a day in our headquarters from solar energy, the largest in India. A small organization compared to many other organizations, and yet we have been able to create such a project. So much changes is happening at all levels. So much awakening is taking place. So much awareness is happening. And so, is it okay? to sleep through all of this? Or should we contribute to bringing that change that is desperately needed to heal the self, heal each other, and heal Mother Earth? Today, in some parts of the world, there could be tornado. In fact, today's news or yesterday's news, in 24 hours, there were 23 tornadoes. Can we recognize how much we have contributed? Each one of us has contributed to this imbalance in our climatic condition. And do we take a pledge to do something to help heal this planet? Because we all want to bring children here on this earth. And what kind of earth are we leaving behind for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren? Is it a world that is healthy? Is it the air that is free from carbon dioxide? In some part of the world, there's desperate need for oxygen. In some part of the world, there's desperate need for food, while in some part of the world, we are dumping food. Some part of the world, water is creating tsunami and floods. Some part is providing starvation because there's drought. So all the elements are reacting. And so when is God needed to be here? Now, because only He can regenerate, rejuvenate, replenish, renew, not just the energy of the soul, but of matter and the whole world. Only God can do that. And He's doing that right now. The light of all lights has arrived in the darkness. We all know when they say God will come as a thief in the night, we know that only half of the earth will always be in darkness, whilst the other half will be in light. So obviously, when they say God will come in the night, it can't be a physical night. It has to be the night when man is asleep in ignorance and when we need to wake up. And so God has come and He's awakening all of us. And so this is a time, and we have been given a lot of signals. There's so many signals. Please don't ignore them anymore, but take the signal and use it as a cue to change, transform the self. And we can't do it alone. That's why God has come. He's called the purifier. He's called the remover of sorrow, the bestower of happiness. He's called the uplifter of mankind, the guide, the protector. He's the one, not us. So we are not God, and God is separate, and God is one, and He's the light of all light, the Supreme Father, Supreme Soul, and He's here. And all we need to do is, through meditation, connect the soul with God, the Supreme Soul, and draw from Him power, peace. And so when soul is filled, it has the ability to heal itself, heal its body, heal the mind. Every thought matter, every moment matter, and every act of kindness or selflessness matters. And God needs everyone's cooperation to bring about the change that is crucial for humanity's survival at this time. It is important that we realize the time, realize our responsibility, and connect with God. Do our part. We can't change by ourselves, but when we are willing to change, as the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So invite God, the light of all light, and look at the universal light. That's my good wishes to all of you. Come out of this darkness, turn to the light, face the sun of knowledge, and take the power from God to bring the change that is necessary for our own self, for our own sake at this time. Om Shanti and good evening.